Riverdale, Season 1. Archie Andrews, is that you? Well, this was my reaction for the whole premise of the show, more or less throughout. Based on the popular, ever-growing and evergreen American comic series, Riverdale the show was set to be different from the start-go. While the comics presented a happy-go-lucky, carefree guy Archie living the average American teen life, with the worries of his life being football, his car, and balancing between Betty and Veronica. Riverdale takes a complete turn here, and even the marketing and promo is evident that they are pushing for this. Instead of the cheerful, bright atmosphere from the comics, it's a town shrouded in mystery and murder. I think the only somewhat resemblance these characters have to their comic counterparts is the fact that the names and likenesses match, and that's it. Yes, we might have the rich spoiled brat Cheryl and rags to riches Veronica or the girl next door Betty with the same character traits as in the comics, but all of these take a setback in turn for the greater good of the story. So, coming to the story, after watching the trailers, I did have some expectations for this, and compared to the source material, they were actually using this turned out to be very good. In fact, I was surprised how they were able to weave a deep narrative in the world of Archie. Now, coming back to the narrative, the show must either get a lot of praise or the praise must be taken back, because since in its core structure it's a teen drama. The rising popularity of teen drama is attributed to the fact that not much work has to be done in order for it to appeal to a casual or core audience. But here, the murder suspense theme, along with a hint of supernaturalism about the town and its inhabitants, it seems nothing is what it looks like. Maybe I'm going off the rails or putting in too much thought about this, but there's no denying that this show came out about the drastic reimagination of Archie and his pals to the same time as when the comics like The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Afterlife of Archie. So maybe seasons later we can dive into a dark lore of Riverdale, bring in Sabrina or go crazy along the routes of something like Archie's weird mysteries. But whatever route the show takes on, it's at its heart a teen drama, somewhat, and it embraces the fact too. Our heroes, Archie and Jughead, have the figures that girls die for, and in fact, leaving Archie, who's an athlete, Jughead's stick is that he's a smart guy with emotional issues. And my god, does he have muscles just lazing around all day? Beautiful female leads and stars who, in fact, alone, their personality traits might make them seem a bit too much two-dimensional and comical, but together, even if two of them get together, the narrative seems to fold around quite nicely. So, the characters are good. I mean, just a hint of the comic book counterparts, and everything else has been dialed up to suspend times 10 here. A feel of the classic 90s Archie is here, with milkshakes and diners and muscle cars along with gang warfare, an important part of their lives. Archie, the sweetheart throb, has a secret, and it is that he wants to sing and not play football. Jughead is trying to find himself even though he doesn't want to. Betty, the girl next door, with Veronica, the rich princess who stumbles in their lives, and Cheryl, possibly the most cringy yet likable character of this season. Coming to the story, it's a simple premise but well executed, and for the sake of drama, the suspense on the characters has been elevated so much that it actually worked for the sake of the story. The incest feel among the Blossom siblings, Betty's dark personal search, family honor parts, gang warfare, everything
was looking at pointing the guns elsewhere, but at the end, it ended up out of the blue exposing the real murderer. And now, if you are watching it for the sake of its detective skills and lot, you'll be disappointed. Everything was being done to set up a dark and gloomy mood of Riverdale, and while everyone was a suspect, the way they handled the reveal was a bit surprising but not shocking. With a teen suspense drama, and you're going to have the romances, the epic love triangle of Archie, Betty, and Veronica here have been replaced with a constant status quo. Moreover, to attract to the teens, Betty and Jughead have this cute one while Archie and Veronica have the wild, steamy relationship. And something out of the comics, a stark contrast. The way the parents were handled and given important roles was a nice welcome to the story and not just focusing on the main characters as students. Now, overall, Riverdale is a pretty good show. Now, I don't want to go deep or critical into it, but it's because you don't need to. Fans of Archie comics over the years are going to enjoy this wild romp, and while it might change a lot from the source material, I think the deviation is for the better. I went into the show with expectations, and yes, while sometimes the drama is off-putting, overacting, cheesy lines, and making a whole out of anthill, it's okay. And honestly, I love this show. Watching it as a long-term Archie fan, I love the subtle references and Easter eggs. The show has its fair share of issues, and I think it's mostly with dragging on things where not needed. I loved Riverdale, and I'm excited to see in which direction it can go. Even the cliffhanger ending did seem to point it out. The show can go in the right direction or will fail, and time will tell. But as for now, it's time for another part of watching Archie and his gang descend into the gloominess that is Riverdale.